worker self-management elements in Yugoslav society were interesting and important, and they were pretty successful, I think. But you have to remember that they were within the framework of a totalitarian system. So there was it was a kind of a Bolshevik-style system with control vested at the top, orders handed down, and so on. And within that roughly, essentially totalitarian framework, there were openings and opportunities and initiatives for really significant democratic efforts, like worker self-managed factories and other enterprises. And that was, I think, reasonably successful. But and there are other cases, but they're always within other societies. You can't, if anything's going to exist in the real world, it's going to be within the framework of something larger that exists, unless there's a revolution and you overthrow it. Actually, there's couple of cases where that actually happened, like Spain in 1936, where the 1936 revolution, the anarchist revolution, did overthrow the outside framework and created a substantially worker-controlled, peasant-controlled participatory society. But that was for a year before the combined forces of fascism, communism, and liberal democracy got together and crushed it. None of them could tolerate that. So it didn't last very long. You can't, and it was in the middle of a war, so hard to, but it was pretty successful given those circumstances. Just about everything else you can think of is within the framework of an overarching society. So take, say, Mondragon in the Basque Country in Spain, which is the largest effort of this kind. And it's pretty substantial. It includes production units, banks, housing, commerce. It's a major conglomerate and pretty successful. But it operates within a state capitalist world. So it has to sell things on a market. It has to invest in overseas production to maintain competitiveness, which means exploitation of super cheap labor and environmental damage and so on. It can't avoid that. They can't be completely self-sufficient. They're part of a broader social world which has its own properties, roughly state capitalist properties. But that's successful. There are many other examples of worker-owned, worker-managed enterprises, which are often quite successful in their own cooperatives as well, but constrained by the nature of the outside society.